Video game sequels. Some are great, some others not so much. But over the years, there have definitely been quite a few great games that never ended up getting a sequel. Sometimes it was due to the game not performing well, or something like developer or publisher complications. But there's also been times where it seemed like the stars were aligned for a potential sequel and we still never got one. So in this video, I'd like to go over some possible sequels that I would like to see, but I'd also like to hear from you. So if you have any ideas for a potential sequel, feel free to drop your thoughts down below. First up on the list is a little bit unique, and it's Fallout New Vegas 2. I say it's unique because it's pretty obvious that we are going to get another Fallout game at some point, but I also do think that a lot of us would love to return to the Mojave Wasteland for another game, especially because New Vegas is widely regarded as the most beloved game of the entire franchise. But the IP is currently in a little bit of a weird place between Fallout 76 having a bit of its redemption arc and the TV show being a very big success. There's a lot of people craving a new Fallout game. So where do they go from here? Well, with Microsoft purchasing both Bethesda and Obsidian, I think the answer should be obvious. Bethesda is pretty busy fixing up Starfield, and of course, they're working on Elder Scrolls 6 as well. But Obsidian finished up Avowed earlier, and then later this year, we should be getting Outer Worlds 2. So, seeing as Obsidian developed the first New Vegas, they don't have too much on their plate. I think it would be pretty great to get a sequel from them. It makes a lot of sense from both a business and fan perspective, but only time will tell. I just think that there's so much potential there, and being able to see the New Vegas Strip on next gen graphics would be really cool. Sunset Overdrive was a game filled with tons of personality and soul. Insomniac, who is probably more known for Ratchet and Clank and now Spider-Man, really did make a gem here. It felt like a game ripped out of the early 2000s. It reminds me of the PS2 or original Xbox era, but in all the best ways. It's got mechanics that still hold up pretty well, and actually pretty beautiful graphics at times. Unfortunately, the odds of a sequel are pretty damn low. This game was an Xbox exclusive back in 2014, and as I'm sure many of you will know, Insomniac is now owned by Sony. Now, I'm not an expert on how licensing or anything like that really works, but I can definitely tell you that lowers the odds quite a bit. It does suck because the first game was so creative, and a sequel on new hardware would be awesome to see. I do think there's a place for a Sunset Overdrive 2 in the gaming world today, maybe even more so than when it came out, but the odds are stacked against it. Compared to the other games on this list, Red Dead Redemption 3 is almost a certainty to happen. The first two were obviously extremely successful, and it's pretty much expected that once Rockstar's done with GTA 6, they're going to start working on Red Dead 3. The only catch, though, is that with Rockstar's recent release track record, it could be another decade or more away. Also, unlike the other games on this list, Red Dead 3 has a pretty decent shot of being a prequel and not a sequel. If you played Red Dead 2, you would know that's the case with that game as well. And it makes sense for them to keep going back. Both Red Dead 1 and 2 took place kind of at that tail end of the Wild West. So there's a lot of that era left to explore, a lot of it that we haven't seen in the games yet. So maybe if we go back in time, play from the perspective of Hosea or Dutch, or even somebody new, that would be fun to see. Either way though, I do have full faith in Rockstar to come up with something interesting for us to play, whether it's a prequel or a sequel. Let's just hope that it's not too far away, because with Rockstar, you never really know how long it's actually going to take them. Last on the list is one of my personal favorites. In my opinion, Prey might be the single most underrated AAA game of the last decade. If you haven't played it, I seriously would recommend it. It feels like a spiritual successor to System Shock for anybody who's played those, but it also moved forward the immersive sim genre as a whole. There's so many ways to play the game. If you want to be stealthy, you can do that. If you want to go guns blazing, you can do that. If you want to just screw around on the space station, you can also do that. So much freedom for the player, and in such a cool setting as well. And not to spoil too much about the game, but it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, so it's just screaming for a sequel. Which makes it all the more unfortunate that it's not looking likely. As good as it was, it simply didn't sell that many copies. And at the end of the day, game development is a business. But that doesn't mean that we're not allowed to dream. So these are a few ideas that I had, mostly my own personal biases, but there are a ton of great games that definitely deserve a sequel. So if you feel like I left a few out, I'd love to hear from you all. If you enjoyed this type of discussion, be sure to check out my Instagram page linked in the description where we discuss everything about gaming. I'll see you in the next one.